Hello, I'm Jeff White. I'm an author and investigative journalist. This is another in the series of videos I've made about how to write a book or how I go about writing a book. So in the last couple of videos, we talked about research, marshalling all your research together. And hopefully if you followed those, you're at the point where your chapters, the research for your chapters is all gathered in one place. It's all structured according to how you want to write the chapter. Everything is there. All of the tools, all the material, all of the research is there to write the chapter in the order that you want to write it for. And so the next stage is writing. And I know for a lot of people, writing is psychologically quite difficult. There's nothing more intimidating than a blank page and a big blinking cursor just waiting for you to put your thoughts down. The fear induced by that is palpable. But that's why the method that I've explained, I find is so powerful, is because it's not a blank page, is it, at all? You've got an entire notes file full of everything that you need, basically pretty much there, pretty much written. All you've got to do is turn all of that raw research, all of that stuff, all those notes you put in order, those quotes that you got from your interviews, etc., into the form of sentences. So the useful thing about splitting it up this way and researching, and then writing is that when you come to the writing stage, you can just concentrate on writing. You're not thinking, oh, I need to work out where that's from, I need to find that piece. It's all there, it's all ready to go. A long time ago, I went bungee jumping when I was a kid. And I found it fascinating how they teach you to bungee jump. I mean, frankly, just jump out of a cage. But how do you get somebody to do something that every fibre in their being is probably telling them not to do? Here's how. They get you in the cage, you're suspended on this bloody great crane, you've got an elastic band attached to your ankles, and you approach the edge of the cage, right? Which is a gap in the cage above several hundred feet of drop. Now, nobody in their right mind is going to take the step to actively jump off the cage. So what they get you to do is they get you to put your hand on each side of the cage and lean out with your hands behind you. Now at that stage, you're pretty much out of the cage. So all they do is they say, we're going to count to 3 and then you let go. 1, 2, 3, let go. And quite a lot of people do. I did, certainly. The important thing is the psychological step of jumping out isn't necessary because you're already halfway out. And that's what's important about this notes file. You are already half written. The chapter is already basically there. All you've got to do is turn it into sentences. Now, in terms of my sort of practice, I try to write at the speed that I hope that people read the book. Now, obviously, that's not completely impossible, but I write fast. A, because I feel it makes the writing compelling and pacey, but B, it keeps me interested. I don't get bored. I don't dwell with it. I just try and write at pace, and I just think, just write it, get it all down, make it as pacey and exciting as you can. The other thing is that I'm aware not everybody feels like this. You know, when people are writing, I think a lot of people have a voice in their head that tells them what they're writing is rubbish. And that voice is probably right. I mean, just get accustomed to that. Your first draft of anything is probably going to be a bit shit. Just live with that. Just be happy with it. Lean into it. In fact, I sometimes find it helps me to write the first couple of paragraphs almost as though it's a joke, like I'm writing it as a joke to myself, as in, this is a really rubbish opening, but I literally write that on the page and then start writing it. Or I'll say, well, it's going to start a bit like this, but we don't really know how, but anyway. Or start writing the second or third paragraph. Don't worry about the first paragraph, that comes later. Do anything you can to trick your mind into just getting into the flow of writing. And I guarantee you the first few paragraphs you won't be happy with. But after a while, you just get into the flow of it and you start to loosen up the gears and you do actually start to enjoy writing. The other thing that's vital about this stage of writing for me is stick to the gear. Do not go back and do more research. You will think to yourself, oh, I need to find out that other bit of information. I didn't look at that. Don't go back. Don't keep researching. If you desperately need to find something, just simply put in the text, check fact, and make the fact up and come back to it. When I'm writing, I don't tend to try and find facts that I haven't got in my notes file. My notes file, by the way, should be full of all the information I need. If it's not, I just leave a note saying check and I make up the fact and I come back to it later. If you go forward or backwards in the gears, you won't get far. So that's how I can write 3,000 words in a day. Because I'm not writing 3,000 words in a day. What I'm doing is taking 1,000 words of factual information and just expanding them into fun sentences. And you can have fun with that. You can, I don't know, throw in a swear word, write 3-word sentences, come out with stupid ideas, do it in the form of a limerick, anything. Who cares? It's probably not going to make the final draft anyway. Just have fun with the writing. You've done the hard work, you've done the research, you've structured the research. Now it's time to take the brakes off and enjoy writing. And don't worry whether it's any good. Don't worry whether it's factually correct. It probably is, because your notes file is there, but you're going to go on to that next gear of fact checking. For now, the important thing is just get on with writing, enjoy writing, and just try and take the brakes off and let yourself go. And if you're lucky, after a few days, you've got an 8,000, 9,000 word chapter. And that's the psychological battle won. You've written the chapter. Okay, it's rough. Okay, it needs shaping. It needs sorting out. It needs fact checking. But you've got over that psychological hurdle of having written it. And so for the next step, it's the first stage of fact checking, and that's in the next video. If you've liked this one, if you found it helpful, do like, comment, share, whatever. And feel free to leave your own tips as well if you're writing or in the process of writing. And the next video, we're going to come back to fact checking. I shall see you for that one.